Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, whose baptismal name was Johannes Chrysostomus Wolfgangus Diabolus Mozart, was born to Leopold and Anna Maria Mozart on the 27th of January in 1756 in what is now Austria. He composed over 600 works, many acknowledged as pinnacles of symphonic, concertante, chamber, piano, operatic, and choral music. He is among the most enduringly popular of classical composers. Years later, after her brother's death, his sister Nannerl reminisced that he often spent much time at the clavier, picking out thirds which he was always striking, and his pleasure showed that it sounded good. In the 4th year of his age, his father, for a game as it were, began to teach him a few minuets and pieces at the clavier. He could play it faultlessly and with the greatest delicacy, and keeping exactly in time. At the age of 5, he was already composing little pieces, which he played to his father, who wrote them out. During Mozart's youth, his family made several European journeys, in which he and Nannerl performed as child prodigies. A long concert tour spanning 3.5 years followed. During this trip, Mozart met a great number of musicians and acquainted himself with the works of other composers. Towards the end of the final Italian journey, Mozart wrote the first of his works to still be widely performed today, the Solo Mutuet Exulte Jubilante. Mozart was employed as a court musician by the ruler of Salzburg, Prince Archbishop Hieronymus Colloredo. The composer had a great number of friends and admirers in Salzburg and had the opportunity to work in many genres, composing symphonies, sonatas, string quartets, serenades, and a few minor operas. In August of 1777, Mozart resigned his Salzburg position and on September 23rd ventured out once more in search of employment. The following March, the composer was summoned to his employer, Archbishop Colloredo, in Vienna. Mozart, fresh from the adulation he had earned in Munich, was offended when Colloredo treated him as a mere servant, and particularly when the Archbishop forbade him to perform before the Emperor. The resulting quarrel came to a head in May. Mozart attempted to resign and was refused. The following month, permission was granted, but in a grossly insulting way. The composer was dismissed, literally, with a kick in the ass, administered by the Archbishop's steward, Count Arco. In 1782, he completed the opera The Abduction from the Seraglio, which premiered on the 16th of July in 1782 and achieved a huge success. The work fully established Mozart's reputation as a composer. Around the end of 1785, Mozart began his famous operatic collaboration with the librettist Lorenzo da Ponte, The Marriage of Figaro. This led to a second collaboration with da Ponte, the opera Don Giovanni, which premiered in October 1787. The two are among Mozart's most important works and are mainstays of the operatic repertoire today. Mozart's last year was, until his final illness struck, a time of great productivity, and by some accounts a time of personal recovery. He composed a great deal, including some of his most admired works. Mozart fell ill while in Prague. The illness intensified on the 20th of November, at which point Mozart became bedridden, suffering from swelling, pain, and vomiting. Mozart was buried in a common grave, in accordance with the contemporary Viennese custom, at the St. Mark's Cemetery outside the city on the 7th of December. The most widely accepted hypothesis is that Mozart died of acute rheumatic fever.